Espérate. Ladies and gentlemen, live from Griffith Observatory, we are bringing you a live stream of tonight's total lunar eclipse. We do have some clouds, that's why you've been looking at a dark box part of the time. So we're going to switch to our wide
left edge begins to darken quite noticeably. So it's going to be a very beautiful sight as it moves. The moon moves into the shadow of the Earth and gets into totality, which will occur at 4:11 a.m.
Yes, so these clouds are not everywhere over the sky, but they do happen to be right the direction that the moon is. So, like I said, we'll continue with this wide shot, and as soon as we get another clear shot of the moon, we'll go back to our telescope view. But thank you all for joining us. Tonight's program is brought to you from Griffith Observatory, the City of Los Angeles, the Department of Recreation and Parks, and of course, this presentation is made possible by the generosity of the Griffith Observatory Foundation. And again, thank you all for joining us, and all of you that have made donations. We greatly appreciate that. All that funds goes to our foundation, which helps with this programming. So enjoy the broadcast.
Somebody in the chat, is the eclipse over?
Hey, this is Matthew. I'm running some of the switching hardware. I just wanted to tell you guys that the box in the lower right-hand corner is our telescope feed, and we'll be switching back and forth between the two. The camera right now is just a wide everything camera, and then our telescope feed's that little black box in the bottom corner. So it will slowly see more moon and less moon. So, and we'll switch between the two images as more moon shows up. Thank you. All right, we're going to be boosting the light levels to just shoot through the clouds. Hello everyone. It's going black again, so I'm going to put a picture-in-picture in the lower right-hand corner of our secondary camera. And I'll just leave it up there. It won't block the moon when it comes back. Thank you.
umbra, which is the darkest part of the Earth's shadow, and you can clearly see, even through the clouds here, that the bottom left edge of the moon is darkened considerably, and will continue to darken until the moon reaches totality at 4:11 a.m.
throughout the year.
also helped human skin
But if you
cells
happen to be
defend
assigned a
against
night of
age-accelerating
telescope time and it's
oxidative
cloudy, then
damage.
you're usually
And the
just
scientists
out
in
of
this
luck.
study didn't go easy.
Many
They
observatories
hit the skin
work on a
cells hard
system
with
where
powerful
you
oxidative
propose for
chemicals,
telescope
but the
time, and if you're given
phytonutrients
that
from
time, you'll
H2O
award that
appeared to
time
help
by
the
a committee
cells
that
protect
decides which
themselves.
projects are
Now,
worthwhile.
Schizandra, mangosteen,
Then
mangosteen, and
you're given a
H2O are just
specific
the
night
three
or
berries
nights of
I call
time,
the heart
depending
power
on when your
trio.
objects
There
are
are
visible,
9
and if
more
it's cloudy on your
phytonutrient-rich
night,
fruits in this
then
incredibly
too bad
potent
you're out of
blend,
luck.
plus an extra
Some telescopes
concentrated
work on a
blast of
Q schedule where
phytonutrient-rich
they
hibiscus.
observe
The result is an
from all the
incredible
lists of
dose of
targets that people
nutrients
have
shown to help
submitted
your cells
in
defend
order of
themselves so
scientific
that they can
priority.
keep powering your body with abundant, youthful
But
energy.
even there in a bad
And the berry
semester, if
blend
you've
is
got lots
just
of
the
nights of
beginning.
clouds,
Energy
then
Renew
less targets
also
get
has
observed.
acetyl-L-carnitine.
So we are at the
This is the
mercy of the
powerhouse
weather
form of
here on
carnitine,
Earth.
which is crucial for your energy levels as you get older. In a groundbreaking human trial carried out in 2004, scientists separated healthy adults into 2 groups. One group got carnitine every day, and another group
if you're
got
in
a
Hawaii and you
placebo.
have clear
After
skies,
10
have a
days,
step
tests
away
were
from
run,
your laptop
and the
or computer
carnitine group was
screen or
burning
TV screen,
more
wherever you're
fat
viewing
for
it.
energy. And
Go
this was
outside
despite
and
everyone
take a look up
eating
in
the
the sky
exact
and enjoy
same
the
diet.
natural view.
So
Grab
the
a pair of
scientists switched the
binoculars if you want
carnitine and
to see
placebo
more
groups
details
for a
on the
second
moon.
10-day run to see if it
And
changed
especially as we
anything.
approach
No matter what,
totality, the red color will
whoever
be
got
more obvious to your
carnitine
naked eye
burned
as
more
the
fat.
bright
Several
edge
years later, a more in-depth human
gets
clinical trial was done
into
on
shadow as well.
L-carnitine with even more shocking results. In this study, scientists gave healthy adults a daily drink that either had carnitine or didn't for a period of 5.5 months. During that time, scientists repeatedly tested the participants' physical performance on exercise bikes. In every test, the carnitine group was able to generate much more pedaling power for longer on the bikes. And the scientists determined it was because the carnitine was helping their bodies use more fat for energy. As you might imagine, burning fat for energy can have a wonderful slimming effect on your body as well. What's more, shortly after that carnitine exercise study came out, a major comprehensive review of L-carnitine was published in Expert Review of Neurotherapeutics, this time concerning your nerves. Based on multiple clinical trials involving over 1,700 participants, the authors of the review concluded that L-carnitine gives incredible support to nerve health, which is critical for enjoying life as you get older. Now, as if this formula weren't powerful enough already, the final ingredient takes it over the top: D-ribose. This is the easy-to-digest form of ribose, the key compound that makes up energy in your body. And in an amazing study carried out in 2004, it was discovered that when participants took in more D-ribose in the form of a supplement, it caused their bodies to make more energy out of it. Much more recently, however, in 2017, another even more impressive clinical trial was carried out. In this trial, scientists demonstrated how D-ribose helped improve physical performance and recovery in regular people, not athletes
Remove the
or
mouse
fitness
pointer.
buffs.
Thanks for that.
Over the course of several
If you
days,
go outside
they had
and look with your
26
eyes, the moon
healthy
actually
adults
looks quite
perform grueling
ball-shaped,
physical
much more
performance
than when it's
tests on
totally
exercise
illuminated.
bikes
You get a
every
really
single day.
sense of it
Half
being
of
a
those people
three-dimensional
got
object.
D-ribose, and half
And
of
if
them
you see
got a
some bright
placebo.
stars around
From
the
the
moon,
first
that's the
punishing day to the
constellation
last,
Scorpius. So
the
the moon is
non-athletic
nicely
people who
cradled
got
by the
D-ribose
constellation Scorpius.
consistently outpedaled those who got the placebo. And they also bounced back from the effort faster. This kind of energy-enhancing power is why D-ribose is the final ingredient in the incredible Energy Renew formula. And all the ingredients in this formula have been hand-selected by me and my team for both the powerful benefits they each provide on their own and for the specific
eclipse is
ways they
not
all
visible
work
from
together to
Louisiana.
help you
It's only
feel
over the
like you're
Pacific.
living
There
in
will be
a
an
brand new
eclipse
body.
in
That's why the
November 18th
results
to
have been
19th.
so
It's
dramatic
almost
for
total that you'll
nearly
be able
everyone
to
who's tried it.
see in
More
Louisiana.
energy,
Something
easier
like
weight
2 or 3
management,
in the
a more
morning.
youthful appearance, a clearer mind, awesome health.
If you're interested
These
in
are all
seeing when
possible thanks to what
partial
this
or total
enhanced,
lunar eclipses and
re-energizing
solar
blend
eclipses
can
will be
do in your
visible in
body.
your part
All
of the
you have
world,
to do is mix
I
one
highly
little
recommend
scoop in water
time
or a
and
smoothie and enjoy daily.
date.com.
People even love the refreshing
They
passion fruit
have
flavor.
links to
Of course, I could talk about Energy
eclipses,
Renew
there's
all day,
maps for
but the
future
truth is
eclipses.
you
You can
deserve
put in
to
which city
experience
or
its full
country
power
you're
for
in,
yourself.
and
That's why it's
it'll
about
list
time
what
I told you
eclipses are
how to get
visible
your
in the
hands
future.
on your
There's
very
even a little link
own
to see all the
risk-free
ones
supply.
that you could see up
Now,
to
when
the
I
year
was deciding how to release this
2199,
formula,
should
I
you
felt
live
it was
that long.
important that it not only be effective, it should also be affordable. Energy Renew has 15 groundbreaking
This stream
ingredients,
is
all
from
scientifically backed,
Honolulu,
and
Hawaii.
all produced to uncompromising standards. They were all formulated together under the guidance of me, a top-ranked doctor and researcher, into one formula that can help you feel and see a real difference in your energy, waistline, complexion, confidence, and more. Creating Energy Renew has been the single biggest project I've ever undertaken as a health researcher. Many of the ingredients of this formula you can't even find anywhere else. And the ingredients you can find get expensive really quickly. Early on, I had my team price out each ingredient individually for a month's supply, and when they added everything up, the total was over $200. I knew that was unreasonable for most people. Fortunately, I was able to team up with a world-class lab that could help me get that cost down by ramping up production. And I also knew I wasn't going to put this formula in specialty stores until we could get around the markups they charge, which make it more expensive. So instead, by offering Energy Renew directly to you, I'm able to pass all the savings on to you as well. That's why you won't be paying $200. You won't be paying $100. When Energy Renew becomes available on my main website, I'll proudly be able to offer it at $74.95 for a month's
that you
supply.
see
And you won't even be paying that. Because you
like,
stuck with me through this report, I'm pleased to be able to offer you Energy Renew with all the incredible benefits it packs for just $49.95 for a month's supply. That's $1.67 per day, which is less expensive than a plain cup of coffee. And it's so much better for you than that coffee. What's more, I put together a 3-pack option where you can save even more, and a 6-pack option for families and people who want the maximum savings possible. The only catch is that this deal is only guaranteed until the current batch of Energy Renew runs out.
Really good
and
iPhone
since
and
thousands of people
iOS
have
and
ordered,
Android
that
apps
supply is already going
free or
fast.
for a couple
So
dollars
I
that
encourage
you
you
can
to
use.
click the button
There's an
below to
excellent
get to the
computer
secure
app
order
called
page now.
Stellarium
If the purchase
that you
buttons
can
are
use
still
on most
working,
operating
that
systems
means we
to,
still have some available.
see what's
Your
up in the
information
sky.
while ordering is protected by a full SSL encryption for your security. Also, when you order today, your purchase is completely covered by my 90-day money-back guarantee. If within 90 days you don't experience the highest energy, best supported
Sorry for those of you
metabolism,
in
and
Australia
most
where it's,
vibrant health of
freezing
your
cold.
life,
We're
simply
enjoying
contact my customer support team for a
something like
full refund of
75
your purchase
degrees
price.
outside right
That's
now.
how confident I am that this formula will change your life. And speaking of change, there's one more thing I want you to
maximum depth
remember
of
above all
totality will
else.
be at
And that's what
118
drove you
here,
to
so
come to this page and
totality
watch
will
this
start in
report.
4 minutes.
What is it about your health you want to change? Maybe being stuck at home forced you to put on extra weight you didn't want. Maybe you feel tired more often and can't even read your favorite book without wanting to take a nap. Maybe you're suddenly hungry more often for more unhealthy foods. Maybe you're tired of fearing the scale or the mirror. Maybe you just want to feel healthier, happier, and more confident. Whatever your reason, Energy Renew is the most powerful, most complete way I know of to revitalize your body. The unique 15-ingredient blend goes right to work inside you, working its way from your heart to your cells, your metabolism, your brain, nourishing every body part. Just imagine feeling your whole body come alive. Imagine how different your day can be when you're experiencing the benefits like the people in all those studies you learned about.
Well, I'm glad
Imagine
we
feeling
decided
like
to
a
stay
burden has been lifted,
late
like
and do
nearly
this
everyone
here.
I've had try this
And,
formula.
we're lucky to have a
Imagine
nice
literally
cloudless view
being
right now.
lighter as your metabolism starts getting the support it needs to help you shed unwanted pounds. Imagine not needing naps during the day anymore, or feeling tired anytime
Someone
except
asked
at
what
bedtime.
app I'm
Imagine
using.
having
I
a cool,
used
clear
Sky
head
Guide.
and abundant
I'm using
mental
an app
energy
called
for any
Planets.
projects or activities you want.
I find
Imagine
Sky
having
Guide
plenty of
pretty good.
physical
Or
energy
you
to
can
go
just
for
go
walks
to
or
the
enjoy
Android
hobbies
or
you thought
iOS
you'd been
App
forced
Store
to give
and
up.
look for
Imagine just
planetarium
feeling more
software and
comfortable
see,
and happy in your
what
own
people have
skin,
to say
whatever
in
that means for
reviews.
you. These aren't
The
pipe
one that you can
dreams.
use on
These are all
computers
natural
doesn't
things
work
your
on
body
phones.
is
It's called
perfectly
Stellarium,
capable
but
of
it works on
when it gets the
PCs,
support
Macs,
it needs.
Linux,
And
Unix
that's what
computers,
Energy
and
Renew
it's
is
free.
designed to give
It's
you.
pretty powerful.
But it's up to you
We
to
actually use
try
it
it
for
for
teaching
yourself and
some of our
find out.
astronomy labs
Right now
here.
you have access to an exclusive offer. and you're covered by a risk-free guarantee that
Yep,
you'll
the
get the results
imaging
you
device is a
want.
Canon
So,
DSLR
don't you think it's
camera,
time you
and it
gave
is
yourself
attached
the
to an
body and
Astrotech
health you deserve?
AT65
If you're ready to take that
refracting
thrilling
telescope
journey,
with an
then click the
840
button
millimeter
below.
focal
And let
length.
me be the first to congratulate you on this wonderful step you're
Nothing
taking for your
particularly
health.
fancy. You
I'm
could
Dr.
do
Stephen
this
Gundry.
with any
Thank you for
small
watching.
telescope or even a large telephoto lens attached to a
Still
DSLR
here?
camera.
You've probably got some questions, and that's very common. Let me take a few moments to answer some of the most commonly asked questions about Energy Renew. I've seen some other products advertised that claim to boost your energy, metabolism, and so on. How is Gundry MD Energy
Aloha
Renew
to all of
different?
you around
The big
world,
difference between
whether
Energy
you're
Renew
on
and
the
other health formulas is that I chose the ingredients for this
mainland
formula
or
based on real,
the
up-to-date
other side of the
scientific
planet
results
in India
and the
or
results in my
Australia.
own patients in my 2 clinics. That's what led me to phytonutrients, carnitine, and ribose, with top scientific research supporting benefits from enhanced energy to supported heart and brain health to metabolism. I knew these powerful compounds would outperform just about anything on the market. Looking at the mountain of evidence, I could see why
So as you
so
can see,
many
as we're
scientists
approaching
were publishing
totality, it's
papers
still
on these
darker on one
compounds.
side of the
And
moon
in
and
an
lighter
age
on
where
the
people
other.
spend
So
too
even though
much
we
time
will be,
indoors,
the moon will be
suffering from
entirely
changes in their
Earth's
bodies that
shadow
can
in the
snowball
Mayer
into
zone,
other health
it
problems,
won't be
I
as
knew
dark
the
as it
blend of
gets
ingredients in
until
Energy Renew
118.
was
That's
possibly
when
the
the
single
center,
most important thing we
or
could
as
do
close
for
as
our
it gets to the
bodies,
center
with
of
the
Earth's
power
shadow.
to support your heart, overcome all the major energy obstacles your body faces, refuel all your organs and systems on the cellular level. These compounds were virtually designed to fuel your body through any diet or lifestyle situation. So, based on real scientific results and exhaustive research, I put no less than 15 ultra-potent re-energizing ingredients in this formula. That's why I can confidently say there is absolutely nothing like Energy Renew on the market. A tremendous amount of work went into developing this groundbreaking 15-ingredient master formula. After all, I'm a surgeon
this
with
time,
40 years
even though we're getting a
experience and a
total
published medical
eclipse, we're
nutrition
just at
researcher,
the edge of
and I
Earth's
brought
shadow,
that
so
expertise to the table.
there
This
are
formula
lunar
gets
eclipses
real
that go through
results
more of
because
Earth's
it's
shadow
got the
than this
carefully
one. You'll have
selected
longer
ingredients
totality.
from premium sources. To see the full list of ingredients, dosages, and supplement facts, just click the Next Step button below for more information. How do I know I'm getting a quality product? Gundry MD Energy Renew contains only 100% pure quality ingredients. The content of every batch is tested for quality and purity at an outside third-party laboratory. And again, my formula contains none of the
That is a
toxic
fantastic
elements you'll
coppery
find
color,
in
as
lots
seen
of
through
other
the
so-called health
camera.
products. Gundry MD Energy Renew has no artificial sugars, toxic additives, or unhealthy preservatives. As a physician, I'm putting my reputation on the line with this product, so you can be sure I go to great lengths to make sure every jar is top quality. I made a pledge when I developed the Gundry MD line. I will never sell any product I wouldn't personally recommend to a loved one. But of course, as a physician, I know that no supplement works for everyone. There's always a very small segment of the population who may be allergic or who can't tolerate certain ingredients in supplements. So, consult your doctor before starting any new dietary supplement. And if you want to return it for any
really
reason at
beautiful
all,
view.
simply
As I was saying,
contact
if
our
you're in
U.S.-based
Honolulu,
customer support team
then
for an immediate refund
a
of
mere
your purchase
11
price.
hours from now,
How
you can
will I
go
know
out
if it's
and
working?
observe
This is a
Lahaina
great
moon,
question. The
and
best thing about
sun
this
will be
formula
directly
is that if
overhead
you're
at
like most people,
12:29 in the
you'll feel
afternoon
it very quickly.
today,
Most report
and then
feeling a
shadows
distinctive,
for
noticeable
things in the
energy
ground like
charge quickly.
lampposts
It may
and
take longer for
bollards
some than for others to feel
signposts will
results,
all
but it's a
disappear.
feeling
You'll
you're
have no
going to
shadow.
want again and
Looks
again.
quite strange.
You'll notice a lifting of the brain
We get a
fog
nice
that often
astronomical
clouds your
double
day.
feature.
You'll feel better about completing tasks, one
That
after
kind
the
of
other, without
thing only
losing
happens in the
steam, without
tropics.
losing stamina. After lunch, you'll wonder why you don't feel more lethargic. You'll likely notice you start to have easier control over your weight. You may even find yourself craving
So this stream
healthier
is being
food.
provided by
And
the
the
University
energy
of Hawaii
from this
Institute for
breakthrough
Astronomy.
formula
My name is
comes
Roy
without the
Gal. I'm an
crash
astronomer
you get
here.
from caffeine,
My
without the
colleague Zach
crash you get
Claytor
from
and
sugar
Tyler
or
Keach are
empty
helping answer
carbs.
questions
This is
on the
clean
chat,
energy
and
because
Alex
it's the
Sierra
kind of
is our
energy your
telescope
body
and
is
camera
supposed
operator.
to be getting. You'll know it's working when you look up at the clock and it's already 10 p.m. and you didn't notice because
Wow,
you're
from the
busy
Cook
playing
Islands, we've
cards
got
with
people from
friends or
all over
working
the
on
world
that
are
personal
joining us. This
project
is
or
fantastic
watching
to
that
see. Thank you
romantic
all
movie
for
with your spouse
joining
without
us.
falling asleep. Of course, there's only one way to really find out if Energy
didn't get
Renew
to
will
see
work
this
for you,
eclipse in person
and that's
and
to
you're on
try
the
it for
mainland
yourself.
US,
If you're ready right
eclipse
now
on
to
the
get
evening
started,
of November
and
18th,
if you're
early
still here,
morning of
you
November
should be
19th
ready.
is about
Simply click the
97%,
Next Step
almost total,
button
and
just
that goes
below.
over most
How
of the
do I
mainland
use Energy Renew?
US.
Now, this is the best part, because it's just incredibly easy. It literally takes not even 1 minute out of your day. You simply add 1 scoop of Energy Renew to water or a smoothie and drink once a day. The ingredients in this formula digest so easily your body starts metabolizing them quickly into benefits you can really feel. It is important to take your Energy Renew every day on a consistent basis.
So
I
we're
take
in
mine every morning
totality
with
now.
breakfast
We're 4
so that I can
minutes
get
from
my day
maximum,
started
and
with a
we'll be
boost of
exiting totality at
long-lasting
about
mental and
1:25
physical energy.
our time, so about
What if
10
it
minutes
doesn't
from
work
now.
for me?
And we'll
Another
hang
great
on for some
question,
time
one we
after
get
that
all the
for
time.
people joining us
Look,
late
as a
if you wanna
physician, I believe
watch
that
as the
everyone can
moon
benefit
emerges
from the
Earth's shadow.
energizing, body-supporting
But we're not
ingredients
going to stay
in
on
this
later than
formula.
2
However,
because
I've
we
had
need to
enough
sleep
experience
also.
to know that people are different. An individual body can react very differently to identical compounds. It all boils down to individual body dynamics. So even though people have consistently raved about the incredible changes they see when using Energy Renew, there are going to be some cases with fewer results. However, the great news is this. If the formula doesn't get results for you, I'm going to give you your money back. In fact, if there's any reason at all you're unsatisfied after a full 90 days of use, I'll return your purchase price. Again, my reputation is on the line here. I want every single person who comes to Gundry MD to have a completely positive
So as people
experience.
are pointing out,
It's
one edge
my
of the
name
moon
on the
still looks
label,
relatively
and I've come
bright,
too
and that's
far to
true
risk
naked
that.
eye as well.
So try
And that's
Gundry
because
MD
this
Energy
eclipse, even
Renew
though it
for
is
3 full
total, the
months.
moon is
And if you don't
completely in
see
Earth's
truly
shadow. It's
remarkable
just
results,
barely
less
inside Earth's
fatigue, better
shadow.
supported
So
metabolism, clearer
we're not
thinking,
getting a super
and better
dark
physical
eclipse
stamina, I'll
on the
give you
whole
your
part of the
purchase
moon.
price back, and that's my personal guarantee. So please,
The website I
simply
was
click the
mentioning,
Next Step button
timeanddate.com,
below
actually
and
has
get
very
started
nice animations that
risk-free
show
right now. You'll find
how the
detailed
moon passes
information on the
through Earth's
website
shadow, and you
about
see
the
that we're
full
just
list of
grazing
ingredients in this
the inside
cutting-edge
part of
formula,
Earth's shadow.
about myself and my medical credentials, and everything you need to know about the product. It's been a pleasure spending this time with you today, and I hope you'll take action. Just click the button below so you can get
Lunar
started
eclipses
on
are a
personally
common
transforming your
occurrence.
health
We just don't see
and
them in the
your
same
energy.
places all the time.
For your
Depends
health,
what part of
I'm
Earth
Dr.
it
Stephen
is.
Gundry.
Rotated towards the moon and away from the sun. So for those of you who are on a daytime part of the Earth now, you're not seeing the
This
eclipse.
incredible $47 monocular telescope massively boosts your smartphone camera and allows you to take pictures with
Throughout history,
superior,
people have thought
high-end
that solar or
DSLR-like
lunar
quality.
eclipses were
It lets you see
portents
everything
of
from
things to
miles
come,
away
but
like
they're
you're
quite
standing
common
next to it,
and
and
totally
experts agree it's
predictable
better than top-of-the-line
events,
telescopes and
so we
lenses
can predict
for only a
within
fraction of the
seconds
cost.
when
It's being called the future of
totality
photography,
is
and
and
thousands of people around the
what
world are
portion of the
already
moon
using it for
will be
birdwatching,
eclipsed.
hunting, and taking stunning
So we
photos when
understand the
traveling.
orbits and
This
positions
incredible
of
invention was created
objects in our
after
solar
more than a
system, the
decade
Earth,
of
the sun, and
intensive
the moon.
research at the Johns Hopkins University. The
precision.
researchers found a way to enlarge distant objects using a tiny, low-cost
Yay,
telescope
science.
without compromising the quality and image resolution. After numerous rounds of testing, results were astonishing. Here's what one of the first beta testers said.
We're actually
At first,
about a
I didn't
minute
believe
away
that
from
such
the
technology
deepest part of
existed,
the
but I
eclipse,
was
and we'll be
astounded
in
when I
the
used it for
total
the
eclipse
first time
till
with my
about
smartphone,
125,
and the
and
photo
then
quality was better
the
than
moon
with
will
my
slowly move
DSLR.
out of
After years of
Earth's
development and
shadow,
thousands
and
of beta
see
tests, the Starscope
both
Monocular
sides
was
of
born.
getting,
The combination of
brighter
nanotechnology
time.
and unique materials allowed this tiny telescope to zoom in 30 times more than other telescopes with the same diameter. It resulted in achieving the level of
If you're in
quality and
Honolulu,
utility that was
Lahaina noon will be
previously
at
only available for the
12:29
military
in
observation
the
units.
afternoon.
The
In
Starscope
other parts of
Monocular
Hawaii,
allows you to see
like
objects
on the
from
Big Island,
miles
Lahaina
away
noon was
and
a
take
few days
pictures
ago.
that equal the zoom and photo quality produced by some of the most
Depends exactly
expensive
where you
brands on
are.
the market. It's like carrying a $4,000 DSLR in your pocket, but in a form of an ultra-compact,
Bishop Museum has a
lightweight
very nice
telescope at
Lahaina
such a
noon,
modest price point. It's
webpage
weatherproof
that
and
tells you the
fog-proof,
time and
making it
date
the
of
perfect
Lahaina noon
companion
in
for
various
any outdoor
places in Hawaii.
excursion. With the anti-shock
actually, the term
technology and the
Lahaina
included
noon
tripod,
was coined,
you'll get the perfect view with
by,
maximum stability
I don't
every
remember
time.
the name of the person,
Celebrities,
but the Bishop
bloggers, and
Museum hosted
professional
a
photographers are
contest for
already
naming
making the
that
switch.
astronomical
Whether you're
event
excited
in,
about
I
bird
believe it was
watching or observing
1990,
stars in the sky, the
and
possibilities
the
with the
name
Starscope
Lahaina noon,
Monocular are
was
endless.
chosen as
The
the
creators
winner.
of
So
Starscope
before that,
Monocular want as
we
many
didn't use
people as
that
possible
term.
to know about this new technology, so they did everything to make it affordable for everyone. Starscope Monocular regular price is $97, but today you can get a special 50% discount and get it for just $47. For just $47, you can experience the photo quality of the top brands on the market and make amazing memories. And even if you don't like it for any reason, you can return it within 30 days for a full refund. This is a great deal, and it might be taken down anytime, so it's best to act now. So click the Order Now button on this video and get your Starscope Monocular now with 50% off because they're selling out fast. And when this video is gone, I can no longer guarantee there are any left in stock. Click on the button on this video to get yours now.
Translates into something like the mean sun or the cruel sun.
Lost it in the trees, so not sure what else we'll be able to do in terms of viewing it, but we'll still try as much as we can. But again, with Flagstaff, we have many trees around us, all ponderosa pine trees. And, it's all really important to our forests, so we don't necessarily want to cut them down. But sometimes they are a little bit annoying for astronomy, but just have to deal with nature sometimes. I guess that's the way it goes. So yeah,
and it looks like we got a question of why is it pink? So the reason it's pink is because this this moon right here, it is passing through
I'm glad
Earth's
we have
shadow.
clear skies. I hear
And
that many
as
of
the sunlight comes
other
through
live
Earth's
feeds
atmosphere,
are being
it
dogged by
actually
clouds. We're
refracts,
pretty
it
lucky.
bends the
I've got
reds
some
in
clouds
such
here
a
in the
way
west,
that we're
but
actually
they're
just
staying away
seeing
from
these
our view of the
red
moon for the
wavelengths
most
across
part.
the surface of the moon. So it's kind of like moving all of the blue wavelengths a little bit, and so we're seeing that the shadow cast is actually kind of a reddish color as it goes through that thicker part.
Yeah, and another cool way to think about it is that besides just kind of ignoring that blue light, we're actually seeing basically the colors seen at sunrise and sunset projected onto the moon, which is like a really cool way to think about this, is that we're kind of like seeing a sunset just like projected on it, which is really cool to think about. So that's another way that you can think about it as well. Another reason why it's also kind of red is that it's quite low to the horizon, which will also kind of increase that how we're actually viewing it through our atmosphere and how red that it actually gets. So the lower to the horizon, the greater color that we can usually see with that. So it is kind of doubly red in a sense because it is quite low, hence behind the trees for us. So
yeah.
Yeah, that's all good questions.
If you happen to be
there was an airplane in the Vixen,
in Hawaii and have a clear view of the eastern horizon, then you'll see Saturn rising, and then shortly after
apparently
that
it looked
Jupiter.
Cool, so hope you guys all caught that.
Yeah.
And if you see a relatively bright kind of orange
I think
star
actually
high
one
up
of the
in the
last times
sky,
we did a
that's
stream, I think with
Arcturus. The Hawaiian name for that
conjunction
star is
when Jupiter and Saturn
like
were
the
getting real
voyaging
close to
canoe.
each other. I think we
A very
also
important
gotten
star
a really
for
cool airplane
Polynesian
shot
navigation.
with those. I remember
And
that happening, which
Hokulea
was really
and
cool
its
to see.
sister vessel Hikuianolia are actually
that actually
voyaging
happens
right
quite
now,
often when
training
we're
a
looking through
new
telescopes.
generation
We'll get like
of
airplanes through
navigators.
them or satellites. I've seen quite a few satellites in
my
there.
gosh, yeah.
It's very, very rare, but if you're super lucky, you might even see a shooting star through the telescope. So in my opinion, you should like make 2 wishes on that star, right? Because not only did you see it, but you saw it like through this little telescope that shortens the field of view. Oh, it looks like the Vixen's got the moon. Does the Vixen have the moon? Yeah?
Maybe.
That's awesome.
Something.
Well, I'm glad you guys got to see it.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of the moon.
Barely, but it's there. Hey.
Yeah.
Little guy didn't quit on us yet. So.
Very true.
Yeah, our Vixen telescope, it's a smaller telescope than the plane wave. So it has like a wider field of view, and it's a really great telescope. We actually like to take it on our offsites.
It does happen.
Lowell Observatory will actually go out
has a
to
program to
like weddings and star parties and such, and
NASA actually
bring
has a
the
program
Vixen
to monitor
and,
for those.
Maybe one of our like 12-inch telescopes.
But they're quite rare,
so,
and they're quite small.
it's a really, really fun little telescope, and it travels pretty well. So it's it's a good little guy.
Yeah.
You can Google NASA
so I guess
lunar impact
probably one of my
monitoring, the
favorite
description of the
telescopes that
program
I
and what the
actually have
impact
to
rates
move
are.
with my own hands.
Even though we
which
see a lot of
isn't
impact
something
craters
that we
on the
do
moon,
that often
the moon
anymore,
is not
because now most of the
geologically
telescopes that
active
we use up at the Godo
and
deck,
has no
our
atmosphere.
GeoValley Open
So
Deck
the
Observatory,
fact that we see
are
that
all
many craters
computerized.
is
We
just
actually
the
have
result of
specific iPads for each one. So we just press on an
millennia
object,
of
click
impacts,
O2, and it'll
so
move
that on
itself,
any
which is
given
like
day, the
totally
likelihood of an
fancy and
impact is
awesome to
extremely
see.
small.
But kind of makes us have to practice those portables with our own hands a little more because we don't use it as often, but kind of fun.
Well, it looks like it is 4:25
All right, we're going to be
a.m., which
emerging from
means that
totality
the
here in a minute.
totality is ending for
start to
us.
see you.
So that was a nice little area where we had that full totality. Unfortunately, we didn't see a whole lot of it, but it was pretty, even though we could only really see the red color.
When
and
I go
every
and look
once
at
in a
it
while, we
naked
got
eye,
some of those dark
I can
Maria.
see that it's reddish, but it's not quite as
But yeah, that
brilliant
is
as it is in
the end of
telescopic
the
view.
totality, and it'll go back into a partial eclipse, continue on, and go kind of backwards from where we started. So that right there is a tree in the video, the Malin Cam video. So I think we have officially lost it in our Malin Cam, but here is a pretty fantastic picture that we took earlier on. Yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. Even though we were fighting the clouds, I think we got some pretty cool views nonetheless. So it looks like we still kind of almost have it in the Vixen. We're getting updates. We can't actually see it ourselves, so we're relying on outside chat features. So that's kind of why we might pause and like think about it a little bit, just because we can't actually see with our own eyes. You guys are the lucky ones that can see it. So
yeah,
almost there though. Sweet.
Okay,
so it looks like we do kind of have it. Nice. So at least one live view, which we can
I saw
see.
someone ask, what can we even
exciting.
see at the distances of
even though we just passed the total part, it still probably looks like a fabulous red color, even though it might be kind of cloudy.
Angular measures,
still kind of interesting, even though we kind of missed the
degree
total
into
part.
60 minutes
it's
of
okay.
arc, and then each minute of arc we divide into 60 arc seconds. So an arc second is a tiny angular measure. It's the size of a dime as seen from
729
about
millisecond exposure
2.5
right
miles
now on
away.
that Vixen.
So that's a
And,
tiny angle.
Oh, it turns
And
out
our
the sun is
telescopes,
rising,
like
so that's fun.
Have resolutions that are much better than that, so we can
I guess it is
discern
almost
details
daytime
in the
here,
sky
Claire.
that are smaller than a dime.
It feels like time
seen
has flied so
few
quickly.
miles away.
I'm honestly shocked, but I had a lot of fun. So
yeah, I hope you guys did too, because I mean, this was awesome for us.
So
we got to come out here,
the Keck
play with the telescopes, and like talk about space, which is always super cool, even if it is 4 a.m.
Easily make out the image
4 a.m. on a Tuesday.
3 or 4 miles away.
So we can still spend a little more time. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat still, or anything like that. And it doesn't necessarily have to be questions about the lunar eclipse itself. It can be about Lowell Observatory. It could be about us, I guess, if you really wanted. But feel free to kind of just spread out and ask any questions that you like. Try to enjoy as much as we can with the view through the Vixen
telescope. The moon
telescope
on the sky is about half a degree
across. It looks like the Vixen is soon-ish going to lose it to the trees as well. There's we think about a degree until it kind of gets into the trees itself. But we'll hold out as long as we can.
Someone says it was never total. In fact, it is a total eclipse, but just barely.
Well, I guess while we're getting this cool
and that light
view,
that we see on it is just the light that's refracted through Earth's atmosphere, which is why it's reddish looking.
It's a nice little camera software.
If you go to timeanddate.com, it shows that the just rays fully inside of Earth's shadow. So that side that's illuminated is the part that's right close to the edge of
plug in
Earth's
the
shadow.
extension cord and everything. Nowadays,
but our eyes are really good at
fancy
adjusting to
GeoValley
different
Open Deck
levels of light.
Observatory with these really nice plane wave telescopes that
even
can
though
hook
that
up
part of the moon
to
is
the
quite a
Malin
bit
Cam
darkened,
software. So
still looks
it's
bright to our
much
eyes.
better, beautiful views, and we can manipulate the images. So like we've been seeing, we can manipulate the gain on the telescope, which is kind of like the sensitivity of the telescope. We can change the exposure times, so we can do
If you're joining us,
milliseconds
we're
up to
streaming
like
this
minutes.
from
We've taken like
Honolulu, Hawaii,
minute-long
near the
exposures
University of
through
Hawaii
this
at
before. They all
Manoa.
look pretty fantastic.
My name is Roy Gall. I'm an astronomer at the Institute for Astronomy.
Right now, apparently,
and
the
all
gain
public
is
outreach
very
events. My
maxed out on
colleagues Zach
Vixen,
and
so,
Carolyn are
both of the
staffing
telescopes right now are
the
using different
keyboards,
Mallet
answering
cams.
questions
The one that
on the
is,
YouTube chat.
showing,
And
like
the most
largest
important
on
person
your
here
guys'
is
screen
Alex
the,
Dierba, who you don't hear,
Planewaves
but
one.
it's his
So,
telescope and camera actually providing
ooh,
the feed.
okay.
So a
I
huge
love
mahalo
this
to
question.
Alex for
So we got a question.
doing
In
this for
our
us.
opinion, what was some of the
He's
most
not a
amazing
professional
things
astronomer.
we've
He does this for
observed at
fun.
Lowell Observatory? So it looks like, is that
So he's the
Joe on the
coolest person in the
Vixen?
room.
Joe said the conjunction for sure. So Joe thinks that the conjunction.
And we're
is the
glad you
best
can
thing
all
that they've
join
ever
us and
seen
enjoy this view
on,
from around the
at
world.
Lowell Observatory.
You can
What would you say is
check
your
us
favorite
out on
thing,
our
Claire?
Facebook page and our Twitter feed. They're all
I really liked
UHIFA,
when
University
I
of
could
Hawaii
see the
Institute for
Mercury
Astronomy, and we
transit that
post
happened
news
a couple years
stories,
ago. That
astronomical
was really
events,
cool
public
because
talks.
we had basically
We're
just
going to be
opened
having a public
the
talk
Godot
by our
deck,
intern
and so we had a bunch of
director,
fancy new
Karen Meach,
telescopes to
coming
like
up in June,
see this
talking
new
about
transit happening, and so we used it in a couple of
the
those, which was really
object that
exciting. We had to
passed
get
through
up
our
like
solar
super
system
early in the
not
morning,
that
which is
long
kind of
ago,
like
but that
weird
came
for
from
us
another solar
night
system
owls who stay up all night
that
gazing at the stars,
that a
but it was
specific
totally worth
astronomer,
it.
who I shall
So
not name,
I would say that's one of my
claimed is an
favorite
alien
ones.
spacecraft,
Or
but it is
looking at
not. We have
Pluto
conclusive
through
evidence.
our
He's just ignoring
old
it.
historic Clark telescope, which is its birthday is coming up pretty soon, so keep an eye out for that. But
so we have
cool
already
too.
passed
So what about you,
maximum
Haley?
eclipse, and we are on our way out of
So mine's not
totality.
like visually,
So
but it's more
totality
like a
ended at
nostalgic thing.
126.
So our historic Clark telescope, you have to go through like 7
So the moon
different,
appears red
training
because the
sessions,
light
and
that's
then you
hitting
have
the
to, like, take
moon,
a written and
even though the moon is in
like,
Earth's shadow,
oh, whoa, there's Jupiter.
the sunlight, some of the sunlight is
Nice.
passing through Earth's atmosphere and being
Anyway.
refracted or bent by the atmosphere
But yeah,
and still
we
landing
had
on
to
the
go
moon.
through
Just like at
the
sunset,
different-
right? The sun goes
Wow,
down
that's
below
really
the
great.
horizon.
the
And
different
even though you
trainings
can't
and
see the sun,
tests we had to
the
take,
horizon
and
looks
during
red.
my
And that's
test,
because the atmosphere
we
bends the
had
red
to,
light
like,
from the
fight through
sun
the clouds
and it
for the
ends up in your
first
eyeballs,
30
whereas the
minutes or
blue
so.
light from the sun
And
gets
by
scattered
the
all
time
over
it
the
ended,
place.
we got to
So
see
the blue light
Neptune,
from the sun
and
that's
Neptune's my
passing through
favorite
Earth's
planet. And
atmosphere
even though
gets
it was
scattered
like
in every
a little
direction, but
blue
the
dot,
red
it was
light,
a little
some of
blue
it is
dot
being
that I
bent and
found
landing
through
on the
a
moon,
125-year-old
the
telescope.
moon
So I
is
think
in
that
Earth's
was just like
shadow.
the coolest
And
thing
that's what
I've ever
casts
done.
that coppery
So,
reddish color.
yeah, but
And so if
cool.
Earth
like you saw
was
there on Malencamp, there
heavily
was
covered in
Jupiter, and now we're
clouds
gonna
right
move
now,
over to
then we would
Saturn.
not get such a red
Oh, look at that
moon
little guy.
because the clouds would prevent
I
that
missed these
red light
too. They
from
went
making
away
it
for a
through.
while and they're back
But
now,
we
and I'm
must
very
have
happy
relatively
about
clear
it.
skies across a significant part
Yeah.
of Earth,
One
so that
time
we're
I looked
actually
at
getting a
Saturn
really,
through one of our
really nice
telescopes
deep
with
red
a
moon for
nebula
this
filter,
eclipse.
and nebula filters, they kind of like manipulate the color of an image to kind of bring it out brighter. And I looked at Saturn
It's our
with it
pleasure
on,
to
and it
provide
was
this. It's
bright
great
blue.
to
It was like
bring a little bit of
teal, and I
astronomy
don't know
to
why I
people in
found
the
that
world.
so funny, but I was like
We know
literally
everyone likes looking
crying
up
because
and
I was
wondering
laughing
what's out
so
there.
hard about this little blue Saturn.
And we're always learning new
But
things
yeah,
every day.
there's our
We
little guy
write
Saturn.
textbooks, but those
Oh,
textbooks get
it's also really
updated
cool.
every year. And that's because
Galileo,
we're always
he
learning new
looked at
things.
Saturn and he said that it had ears because its rings kind of
If
looked
you
like
keep
ears
your eyes
to
on
him.
the
So
on the news, there'll be an interesting
yeah, I
news
think it's really
story
cool.
about
So
planets
big
around other
little
stars
rings,
coming out tomorrow
beigey
from
color.
us, Caltech, and the University of California,
Yeah,
but I can't tell you what the
Well, I'm glad we
news
could
story
catch
is yet.
some of the planets on our way out,
So
basically.
just a
So
tease.
they are, of course,
It'll be
rising in the
out
morning.
at
So
9
if you're
a.m. Pacific
a morning
time.
bird, then that is nice for you guys. So
In
hopefully
a
we'll be
couple
able to
hours from
continue
now.
to see some of these planets as time goes on, because they're definitely stellar to look at in the night sky. For sure.
Stellar. No, they're planetary.
True. It just doesn't sound as cool.
Our pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, sorry guys,
We're
they
glad we
pay
can
us to be
provide
smart,
this.
not to be funny. So
We're glad the weather is cooperating and the
Very true.
telescope is cooperating.
Yeah, so let us know if you have any last minute questions. I think we basically ran into a tree for the Vixen as far as I heard last. So I'm not sure how much more we can get through that guy. So let's see. And clouds, of course. It looks like we have another another
We're
comment.
just playing around with the
Of all the
exposure
streams that are
settings
covering
as
the
the
lunar
brightness
eclipse,
of the
this
moon
one
is
has been the
changing
best
with
and the
more
one
of
I've
the
stayed
sunlight
the
coming on it.
longest in watch for hours. That's so cool. Thanks for joining us. We love to hear your
So
feedback. That's
the
awesome. And thanks so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
someone's
I definitely enjoyed
asking
it, and I know Haley did too. So
when
yeah,
this
that's awesome.
eclipse ends. The
Yeah, I always
eclipse is
enjoy getting to talk
100%
to
done
people
in
about
about
space
2.5
and stuff.
hours.
Yeah, this view of Jupiter is actually really cool. We can see one of its bands on there. I like to call those Jupiter's tan
totality
lines
has ended. The
because
partial
the
eclipse
whiter part of
ends
Jupiter
at
has high
2:52
concentrations of
in the morning,
zinc,
our time,
which is
which
the
is
active
an
ingredient in
hour
sunscreen.
and
So it
20
looks
minutes
like
from now,
Jupiter just
roughly.
like missed some parts of
And
it
after
with the
that,
sunscreen
the
when
moon is
he
only
went out
Earth's
to like go to
penumbra,
the
which
beach
is
or
the outer
something. I
part
don't
of Earth's
know.
shadow
Yours
until about
is
4 in the
much more
morning. But
scientific
that's
than
not
mine
that
and
visible
well
to
thought
your
through,
naked
but I
eye.
call them the bacon
So
strips of Jupiter. So
we're not going to stay up that long. We're probably
That's
going
even
to
better.
call it quits here in about 20 minutes
probably
and
not
get a
as
couple hours of sleep
scientifically
before
formed
we
as yours,
go to
though.
work
I
in the
don't know
morning.
much.
I mean,
Before I have to take my kids to school.
yeah, those are really cool. Those are little storms going across Jupiter.
Yeah, always fun to see.
Yeah.
And so
Really
if we
cute
actually like kind of overexpose the planet itself, we can start to get to see some of the moons of
So
Jupiter.
we've
at
passed
least the 4
totality,
Galilean
so
moons,
we
or,
saw as much
yep,
coverage
there's
in red
4,
as
it
we're
looks
going
like,
to see at around
as far as I can see.
118,
So
and we are
they're
viewing
circling
it
around
here
them.
in
So the
Honolulu,
4 Galilean
Hawaii.
moons were the
This
moons
is very
discovered
real.
by Galileo with his
I
telescope, so
could
that's
take a
how they
picture
get
of
their
Alex
name,
sitting here with
basically.
his little
There's some
telescope in
pretty
my
cool moons in there.
driveway.
So one of them is
But then
Europa,
you lose
which
the feed of
is
the
kind of hot science right now because we
moon.
think that there's some cool underground oceans there, and we're planning to send some specific spacecrafts to delve into more dynamics of the moon, which is really cool. So exciting things with Jupiter coming up hopefully pretty soon.
My favorite moon is Io. It's actually my favorite moon in the solar system.
Someone asked
because
about
it's
two moons
the
with
smallest
different
of Jupiter's
orbits.
4 Galilean moons, and
That's
it's
a really
the
interesting
closest.
question.
And
It
it's
depends
just like
on
this
the
little angry
angles
dude
of
because
those orbits
Jupiter's
and their
pulling on it
sizes.
so hard
as long
that
as those
it's
orbits
in
cross
like
the
basically its
ecliptic
insides are
at
the
regular
lights just
intervals, which
changed
if
in
they,
here.
which they certainly
Basically,
would,
the
then
insides are
you
like
could
coming out the
get
sides in these
any
giant
combinations
volcanoes. And
of
it's like the most volcanically
eclipses.
active body
Probably be
in
pretty rare to
the
get
in
both
the
moons
solar
lined
system.
up. They
I
would be
almost said the
eclipsing each
universe.
other.
Probably not the universe.
If you want to really puzzle yourself about
true.
geometry,
Yeah,
then
Io's
you
a
could
pretty-
think
it's a
about
pretty
solar
cool place.
systems that have two suns,
Or not cool,
like
it's probably really
Tatooine
hot
does
with
in
all that
Star Wars.
volcanism going on.
We have found
yeah.
systems like that where there's planets orbiting
So it looks like we
binary
did just
stars.
lose
And there
the
you can
moon
have
in the
stars
Vixen.
eclipsing each
So I guess
other.
we'll
You could have
try and at least give you guys
all
one
kinds of
last pretty
interesting
look that we took a
configurations.
little bit just before the
The
total
planets go
eclipse
around
happened
the two stars,
of
so the
this
two
moon
stars
right
are in the
here.
middle and the
So
planets
we
are
can see at
going
least that
around
nice
in a
pink
big
or
orbit
red
around
color.
the two stars.
It's quite close to the total eclipse, so it looks pretty much the same, I would say, but not a bad view for a night that was where we were fighting clouds. I would say this is a win over anything. So
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, even just getting this view right here.
Someone asked about
pretty
shadow
fantastic, just
and
seeing this
calculating
brilliant
Earth's
red color
diameter.
in here.
The way we,
I mean,
the ancient Greeks
even though we
actually
didn't get to see most of the
calculated
total
Earth's
eclipse,
diameter
I think it was
was
still
by
pretty
using
worth it, right?
sticks
Yes,
and shadows
definitely. I
on the
agree.
Earth. And you
And
can
then
look
hopefully
up
in the end too, you guys
Eratosthenes
learned a
and
little
his
bit
method
about
for
what
creating,
lunar
for
eclipse is, and a little bit more about the moon and the history of the Apollo missions,
looking
and
up the
also something to
circumference
look forward to
calculating the
with the Artemis
circumference of the
missions to
Earth.
come.
So
So
many
I don't know,
thousands of
maybe you'll
years
have
ago, the
trivia
ancient
questions,
Greeks
then you
already
can
had
relate back to
simple
this.
evidence
That'd be
for
kinda
the
cool,
Earth
but
being a
I don't
sphere.
know. Seems oddly
So
specific.
here's the name
So
of that Greek astronomer.
Hey, I mean, you never know. Maybe they're going to like an astronomy trivia night somewhere.
that would be kind of cool.
That would be really cool.
So yeah, I think we did definitely lose the moon in the Vixen. So yeah, this is just a nice last look at what we were able to do tonight. And we want to thank you guys all for sticking with us in the early morning
Eratosthenes
to
did an
try and
experiment
view
looking
a
at the
total lunar
lengths of
eclipse. And I
shadows
hope that in your location, wherever
different
you were in the
places, or
world,
the
you had a
finding
little
of
more luck
shadows,
than we
and
did.
they estimated the
But for those of us,
circumference
for those
of
of you
the
guys
Earth
who stayed on,
pretty
thank you so much. We
accurately,
always
given that
appreciate
they
you
were
guys
using
coming out
just
to
sticks
support
and
Walls
shadows and
Oratory
had to
with our
measure
live
distances from one
streams.
place to the
Always very
other
fun to do.
using
So
their feet, basically. So
Yeah, and thank you guys for coming out here
understanding understanding
again,
basic
thanks to the whole
trigonometry,
team that put
which the
this
Greeks
together. I
did.
mean, we've got
allowed them to
people
calculate
operating
the
the
size of the
telescopes,
Earth
people
and
helping out in
understand that
the
it was
group
a
chat,
sphere
all
many
kinds of
thousands
stuff.
of years
So
ago.
it
So
really does
discussions
take a
today
village,
about
you
the Earth
know.
not being
So
a sphere
I
are
really appreciate everyone, and I
pretty
hope you guys
strange,
join us
given
again
that there are
soon
many
for
simple
other live
experiments that
streams that we're
show
going to be doing. We've also
that we live on a
got a
ball.
lot of interactive stargazing and different things that are already on our YouTube channel. So if you haven't checked those out, I highly recommend you do. They're totally worth it. So yeah, I think that is pretty much all we've got for you guys tonight. So
And you certainly do
thanks a
not
lot.
need a telescope to enjoy much of the astronomical sights that are out there. With a relatively simple pair of binoculars, like a 10 by 50 binoculars, you can see lots of detail on the moon. If you have a steady hand or a tripod that you can mount your binoculars to, you can see some of the moons of Jupiter and Saturn's rings. And today you can get motorized, go-to computer-controlled telescopes for a few $100s. You don't need a big one, especially in a light-polluted place like Honolulu, to be able to enjoy some of the sites like some of the globular clusters and open clusters that you can see. Planets, you can see the phases of Venus, enjoy Mars. So now you can see it's brightening up as we are emerging from totality. Still get that really nice red color. The moon will not look similar tomorrow. There will be no eclipse tomorrow. You need a really good alignment of the Earth, the sun, and the moon in a straight line. And because moon's orbit is tilted relative to Earth's orbit around the sun, from one day to the next, the moon is not lined up correctly to get an eclipse. The next almost total eclipse is in November of this year. Yeah, we're going to end this stream around 2 o'clock in the morning, our time. You're very welcome for the stream. A good night or a good morning, good evening to wherever you are on Earth. I see someone saying that their students sign on in 20 minutes. Maybe we can hang out for a couple more minutes so they can see something. The video, I believe, is recorded on YouTube and will remain up there. So I know the video of the conjunction that we did back in 2020 is available there. You can find us where you're viewing us here at UHIFA on YouTube. That's what we are on Facebook and Twitter as well. And you can just Google University of Hawaii Institute for Astronomy and find us, our website. Our website is, I will put it in here, is ifa.hawaii.edu. And we are at UHIFA on social media. So some people ask, what's the longest lunar eclipse? So the Earth's shadow is much larger than the diameter of the moon. And this evening or this morning, we're just skirting the edge of Earth's shadow. So we only had about 14 minutes of totality. But if you go right through the middle of Earth's shadow, you can have over an hour and a half of totality. The longest lunar eclipse that's coming up in any reasonable time is going to be in the year 2264, when none of us will be around to witness it. And that one will be almost 2 hours. That's going to be a dark eclipse, I imagine, if humans are still around to see it. We're doing this from Honolulu, Hawaii. So the next solar eclipse is in June 10th. It's an annular eclipse, which means that you have a ring of light around the moon during the eclipse, so that the moon is a little bit farther from Earth, and therefore it looks smaller on the sky, and so it doesn't block 100% of the sun. We will have a total solar eclipse in 2024 that we'll be able to see in most of the United States. If you've ever seen a solar eclipse, you know it's a pretty amazing event. I went to Oregon to see the one a couple years ago. That was pretty incredible. That was my first eclipse. We have astronomers who actually study the sun during eclipses because you can see the outer parts of the sun. One of our colleagues, Shadia Habal, travels around the world catching eclipses, and really amazing images they have with special telescopes and filters showing the material streaming off of the sun. It's many times the radius of the sun. Pretty incredible. And you can only study those portions of the sun during eclipses, otherwise the sun is too bright, and spacecraft that observe the sun can't see as close to the sun as you can during an eclipse. So their views are pretty spectacular. Her team is called the Solar Wind Sherpas, and I'll just put their website up here because they have amazing images of the sun. Someone asked where the 2024 solar eclipse would be visible. There are maps of the path of totality on timeanddate.com. So it starts, it crosses over Mexico and then sort of over the eastern central United States and up towards sort of the area of Maine and the Canadian border. Some places that I'll see it: Cleveland, Rochester, Montreal, Indianapolis, Toledo, Little Rock, Dallas. So lots of significant cities will see at least part of the totality.
have the totality goes to my father's property.
Oh.
Really close to.
So someone's asking if most tracking telescopes track this well. If you buy a decent go-to telescope and you align it correctly, so before we started this broadcast, Alex spent some time aligning his telescope so that it was leveled and knew where north was and things like that, then it'll track well. If you don't align it correctly, then you're not going to get good tracking. If you're looking up at the sky, the moon was near the constellation Scorpius. So if you see some bright stars near the moon, then you're seeing the constellation Scorpius. So we'll hang out here for another 10 or 15 minutes and then we're going to pack it up. We hope you'll check out our website, ifa.hawaii.edu, for news stories. We are a large academic astronomy unit at the University of Hawaii. We have 45 or so PhD astronomers, 30 to 40 graduate students. We run observatories on Mauna Kea and Haleakala and participate in space missions. We have an undergraduate and a graduate program, so if you're thinking about a career in astronomy or just want to take some astronomy classes, you can come here to the University of Hawaii at Manoa and take classes from some of us. Oh, someone is asking about Jupiter and Saturn. So Saturn is rising first, so Saturn will be a little bit higher in the sky than Jupiter, and Jupiter is the brighter one, which is rising a little bit later. And they're rising almost to due east. They should not be very high in the sky yet. And the bright oranger star high up in the sky is Arcturus or Hokulea. Someone's asking that they went at 4:11 Pacific Standard Time. I don't know where you are, Jenny Chen, so it depends where you are on Earth, but California did not have a view of totality, because California is not facing the right way to see the total eclipse. Everyone's welcome for the stream and the commentary. I'm glad you're enjoying it, and I'm glad we can answer some of your questions. Yeah, someone's asking about the stars that are close to the moon. Scorpio looks kind of like a backwards curved check mark to me. That's probably a bad description, but it's the best I can do off the top of my head. And the moon is kind of cradled by the check mark of Scorpio. We don't have a big enough field of view here to show you all the stars with this setup. So here in Hawaii, Jupiter and Saturn are rising now. Depending on what's on your horizon, if there's mountains or something in the way, you won't see them. You have to look towards the eastern horizon. I can't see them. My horizon is blocked by my eastern horizon is blocked by mountains. But there are a lot of apps you can get on your phone or on your computer that will show you what's visible right now. A lot of great phone apps. You just, if you have a smartphone, an Android or an iOS phone, you can just point to somewhere in the sky and it'll show you what's up. Google has a great program, Google Sky. If you want to understand the geometry of lunar and solar eclipses, you can just Google lunar eclipse geometry and you'll find lots of videos that show you what's happening and why you don't get them all the time. If the orbit of the moon was exactly in the same plane as the orbit of the Earth is around the sun, then we would get an eclipse every month. We would get a solar eclipse when the moon was between the sun and the Earth. That's when we have new moon. The moon is backlit by the sun, so we see the dark part of the moon. The moon's not lit for us. That's new moon. And if it was lined up with the sun every time, we would get a solar eclipse every month at new moon, and we would get a lunar eclipse every month at full moon. But because the orbit of the moon is tilted relative to Earth's orbit, sometimes the moon is a little bit above the sun or a little bit below the sun compared to Earth, and so we don't get an eclipse. The place where the moon's orbit intersects the Earth's orbit is called a node. And in order to get an eclipse, that node has to occur when the moon, the Earth, and the sun are in a straight line relative to each other, not when the moon is someplace else in its orbit around the Earth. Shout out to my friends Chris and Ryan, who I see are hanging on here in the early morning hours. I'm glad some of you around the world are getting a clear view like we are, and I'm glad those of you who got cloudy skies or don't get the full lunar eclipse where you are were able to join us. Someone asking what the supermoon is. So the orbit of the moon around the Earth is not a perfect circle. It's an ellipse. It's a little bit elongated. So sometimes the moon gets closer and farther from the Earth in its orbit. When the moon is closest to us, it's called perigee. That means closest point to Earth. When it's farthest, it's called apogee. So when the moon is closer to Earth, it looks a little bit bigger, and we call that a supermoon. So actually, perigee was about a day ago, and so the moon is really close to Earth, comparatively speaking. It's only a few percent difference, 7% closer, plus 7% farther away, or minus 7% closer. So it's not a huge difference in distance, but it is noticeable. And so the moon does look bigger at perigee than it does at apogee by quite a bit. Yeah, we're now well past totality. Totality ended a little more than half an hour ago. And now you can see that the copper color is not so visible anymore. And we're probably going to end this feed in a few minutes. It'll be available on our YouTube channel here to rewatch. We have videos from some of our students talking about their research, and some talks about astronomy. We'll be populating it with more videos over the next few months from our past public presentations. And again, you can keep up with events going on here, astronomy news, public events that we'll start having again as COVID decreases at our website, ifa.hawaii.edu, and our Twitter and Facebook, UHIFA. So I think we're going to get ready to go to sleep. I'll get my 4 hours of sleep before it's time to wake up the kids and take them to school. I don't know what time Alex has to go to work. Alex is lucky. He tells me he got the day off, so he can stay up, but I'm not. So again, thank you all for joining us. We're the University of Hawaii Institute for Astronomy. My name is Roy Gal. My colleagues Carolyn and Zach helping out on answering questions, and Alex Djerba providing the feed from here in Honolulu, Hawaii, where we're lucky to have clear skies and a great view of this total lunar eclipse, the super flower blood moon eclipse. Flower moon because it's May when flowers bloom. That's just a colloquial name for the full moon in May. Super because the moon was closer to Earth, was close to perigee, so it looks bigger. And a blood moon because it looks red during totality. That's a relatively new term. Everyone uses it now. It's pretty amazing how quickly things come into our language. All right, I'm gonna turn off our live stream here, and that'll be the end of our broadcast from Hawaii. Thank you again for joining us.